Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Let's Play Shining Force. In that last episode that you watched, we kinda got our butts kicked a little bit. We made some poor choices, in particular hanging out in this area here, where we were flanked by the enemy coming down from this side, and from this side. That didn't end well, excuse me. And it also didn't help that I had forgotten to repair my various items. So, sorry if that didn't pan out so well. But, I guess we've proven ourselves, so we can get the Chaos Breaker, right? Now, in case you thought maybe there was going to be some kind of puzzle here, no. There's no puzzle, it just straight up tells you what to do. Use light on the left altar, dark on the right. It appears on... the Chaos Breaker appears on the center altar. And what does this one say? Take the Chaos Breaker from the central altar and go forth to battle evil. Okay. Well. Honestly, I'm not even sure why they bother making you do this. Might as well just make it a cutscene, frankly. It's not like there's any doubt about what you're supposed to do. Oh look, and now there's a lightsaber hanging out on the center altar. Sweet. He discovers a Chaos Breaker, not the Chaos Breaker. Just a Chaos Breaker. Because, you know, there's probably like tons of Chaos Breakers hanging out in this game. Oh, nothing's unusual. It's not like there's the Sword of Light just hanging out there. What about the Sword of Dark? Sword of Darkness? Nope, nothing's unusual. Yeah, you can't get those, even though they're still clearly there. You can't actually take them back out of the altar, which kind of blows if you're using a second sword-wielding character, like, say, Balbaroi. Well, sorry, Sword of Darkness, I know you love me and all, but this is goodbye. I've got to move on with my quest with the Chaos Breaker. You know, I hope you're not too lonely hanging out in that altar there, all alone, for all eternity. Hate to break your heart this way, but, you know, the makers of Shining Force didn't give me any choice in the matter. You're just gonna have to stay there for the rest of time. Goodbye, Sword of Darkness. It's been fun. And now the Ghost of Uselessness appears to us once more. He says, "Use the Chaos Breaker to stop Darkseid! I have done all I can! The rest is up to you!" Yeah, you didn't do anything, Ghost. All you can. Please. Please. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know the hope of Rune goes with me. Because you're useless. Who else is gonna do anything? And now we've left Matafa, and it's back to talk to King Uselessness. Or King Douchebag, or whatever it was I was calling him. The king that I don't like. Although now that I think about it, there isn't really a king in this game that I do like. I guess the King of Guardiana was okay, but he died, like, almost immediately after sending you... Actually, no, I didn't like him either, because he, like, vastly underfunded you. He gave you, like, 100 gold in order to go save the country, which is ridiculous. Runefaust was called Protectora. Where was I? Oh, yes. Guardiana held the western gate of the Ancients, while Protectora held the eastern. Though Protectora has fallen into evil hands, the gate remains and still functions. Darkseid entered the Castle of the Ancients through the eastern gate. You must enter Runefaust and fight your way to the gate. Great! Sweet. Alright folks, well it's time to finally bid adieu to Prompt. And promptly head our way over to Runefaust. Now, if you were at all suspicious about the layout of that battlefield that we were fighting on before, thinking, gosh, there's an awful lot of unused space here. I wonder what that's all about. Well, you had good reason to be, because there's a second battle where we have to fight our way down this way. Just as you probably expected. You can see there are a few new unit types. We've seen Minotaurs before. We've seen High Priest before. These are new. These are called Armed Skeletons. They're equipped with really effective axes. They're called Great Axes. And they are pretty great. As you can see, they make these Armed Skeletons attack a massive 62. Really impressive stuff. Armed Skeletons also are a ridiculous pun because they have 4 arms. I can only assume that's why they're called that. Cerberus. Cerberus is basically a slightly less useless hellhound, but still pretty much the same. And these guys, these are like bow riders, but they're called horsemen for some reason, and they're equipped with the most effective archer weapon in the game, the Buster Shot, which raises their attack pretty high. Not quite as high as the Armed Skeleton's attack, but still pretty darn high. And there you have it, folks. Here is this particular battle. Oh, and of course there's some Demon Masters. As you can see, I actually remembered to, raise my guys from the dead before this particular episode. I realized I went through that entire last battle without having Lyle, which, in retrospect, was bad. Probably should not have done that. Probably wasn't a good idea. Kokichi and Domingo are going to be helpful in this battle, for obvious reasons. I'm going to be relying on them to reach at least one of those Demon Masters before they can get off a Freeze 3 on me. Now realistically, what I should probably do is just head down this way. Alright, because this will prevent me from getting overwhelmed by a ton of enemies at once, and I'll be able to reach the grass here and move relatively quickly against the enemies that are arrayed out here, rather than being stuck trudging painstakingly down this whole thing and getting nailed by horsemen at range as I move slowly, slowly, slowly down the battlefield. At least that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. Sorry about that. I thought I knew where the song was going, but I was wrong. That was some off-key whistling. So, Domingo could fly over and nail that guy with Freeze, but I'm going to wait and see if he moves down on his own, because that would save me some trouble. Actually, I wonder if he'd be able to nail this guy in one hit. What's Kokichi's attack right now? 54. And this guy's defense, 24. I think he actually could. Let's have a look. Woohoo! Nicely done, Kokichi. And the Demon Master goes down with a single devastating blow from the Valkyrie. And Lyle can't really move anywhere. I hate these maps with all this woodland and hills and stuff. It's just awful. Yep, saw that coming. But you know what, folks? Only one person getting hit with a Freeze level 3 heading through this area actually isn't that bad compared to what could happen. Alright Kokichi. I believe it's time for you to take out this second Demon Master. And he does. Nice, nice, nice. And he levels up. Only a speed increase, but you know what? Speed increase is useful. It increases his evasion rate, and it makes it so he goes more often. Which is nothing to complain about. Because Kokichi is a really useful character. And the more often he goes, the happier I am. Maybe we should move Domingo over just to help out with these Minotaurs that are approaching on my flank. Musashi too, why don't you move over here? Man, I can't wait to show you guys Dao's Blaze level 4 spell. That spell is sweet. It almost looked like she's, it almost looks like she's summoning meteors from the sky. Uh-oh. That Minotaur just went twice. That's no good. Well, Kokichi is going to have to retreat very quickly. The game gives him an opportunity. Hopefully it does. One thing I can do is have Domingo move over here to keep that other Minotaur from gaining access to Kokichi in case he moves again. And I believe Domingo has much better defense than Kokichi. Kokichi's defense is 26, and Domingo's is 34, yes, so it's actually much better to have Domingo take a hit from that Minotaur than it is for Kokichi at this point. Not even taking into account the fact that Kokichi's rather badly injured. Yeah, it turned out Kokichi went before that second Minotaur, but that wasn't preordained. I could not have known for sure that that was going to happen. Alright, Kokichi needs heal level 3 because he's just taken way too much damage to be healed with more conventional healing spells at this point. Still pretty disappointed by Chris's relatively low maximum magic points. You might have noticed, by the way, that I did not bother reviving Ken. He's still dead. And that saves me the trouble of leaving him out of the way of everything for the entire battle. He just straight up doesn't go, because he's dead. Really what I probably should have done is replaced him with someone useful like Olaf or Tarasu. What I'm going to do, folks, is have Domingo retreat. And let those Minotaurs come to me. And so they do. Being able to move over mountains is so handy. Just one of many reasons why I love Kokichi. Weirdly, folks, I never actually used to use him. I don't know why. In retrospect, this seems like a horrible idea, because he's a great character. If I had it to do over, I would use him in pretty much every playthrough. Bouffant levels up. Just a speed increase. Nothing to get too excited about, but nothing too shabby either. Nothing to complain about. I'd like it if he gained some more magic points, though. Here's an opportunity for us to test out our brand new Chaos Breaker. First, let me make sure he's actually equipped with it. He's not. That's uncool, game. Give a guy a new weapon and don't even auto-equip it. And he one-shots a freaking Minotaur. Bouffant is a monster, folks. Absolute monster. That Minotaur was at full health, too. I don't know if you noticed. That is crazy. I don't know if you thought I was lying when I said earlier in the game that he becomes pretty much your best character, but it's true. Look at that. Attack 67, defense 42, hit points 47, agility 43, move 6. Bouffant is an absolute beast. And I'm not just saying that because I like the alliteration. Although I do like the alliteration. Not too much to say here, folks. I'm just going to slowly keep inching my way down. I know I've already said that I'm not a fan of these kinds of battles, but I'm really not. Oh, Shining Horse. Remember when I said that Hellhounds were completely useless and Cerberus were basically just slightly less useless? They're very slightly less. Because they do the same things Hellhounds do. They use physical attacks, even when they have way more effective variations at their disposal. Also, like Hellhounds, they have terrible defense, and not very impressive hit points either. I'm going to leave it to May to take this sucker out. Let's make sure she's equipped with the halberd. Yes, she is. Might take her a couple hits, but she'll do it. And in the meantime, she will gain some much-needed hit points. Excuse me, experience points. Because she's not doing too bad, but she is lagging behind the rest of the force. And that is not something I want to happen. Meanwhile, maybe I'll have Lyle help out. I'm pretty sure as soon as this battle is over with, I'll have my first opportunity in the game to buy Lyle some artillery to equip in place of that highly outmoded elven arrow he's still using. What? 21 points. Oh, you know what? I didn't even realize Cerberus must be weak to ice. Because they're fire enemies. Duly noted. Not gonna do that again. Sorry, May. Didn't mean to steal your experience points there. Don't worry, though. There's plenty of other enemies for you to sharpen your halberd on. Yeah, no, she's totally pissed. She's like, Bouffant, what the hell? What was that shit? And Bouffant's like, sorry. Guess I didn't know my own strength. Because Bouffant kind of talks like a goof. Okay, I guess I'm moving down there. Make room for other people. God, these battles where, like, all you can do is move a few steps is just so painful. In theory, these are like the kinds of battles where you want Xylo, right? Because Xylo is kind of like the Cerberus, in that he can move really far and really fast through woodlands and hills. But he just was not leveling up well enough. I also found out recently, by reading something somewhere online, that Guns actually is really good on these levels as well. You may remember him as the armadillo in the steam suit, which surprised me because just based on his physical appearance, I assumed he would be a really slow character. I have actually never used him, if you can believe that. Because why would you expect a giant armor-clad gorilla-looking thing to move really quickly? You can't give me an answer to that I'm going to accept, because you wouldn't. There's no way you would accept, just on face value, that something like that is going to move really fast. And so I never really bothered using him. But apparently that was a bad idea, because he evidently is a bit like Xylo in that he moves really far and really fast through hills and woodland. That is something to keep in mind for the future, if I ever replay this game again. Which it is entirely possible that I will. Although I have to say, there are so many good tactical RPGs out there. There's really no reason to have to replay the old ones over and over again. Like, there's some replay value in this, but mostly it's in just trying out different characters. Because the battles themselves, you know, obviously tactics matter, but the AI is so scripted that most of these battles, there's only a few different ways they can play out. Without just, you know, talking about differences in character stats matching up against the enemies. Like, if the AI were a bit more reactive, I think there would be greater replay value in this game. Which isn't to say I haven't replayed this game like 4 or 5 times already, because I totally have. So, maybe I'm just being a hypocrite, and you shouldn't listen to me. As you can see, I'm trying to form up my force here, and give May an opportunity to swing on down from her position north of that little stretch of mountain there. Because I want her... As you can see, Kokichi's going a lot here, folks. He's just getting turn after turn. And so is Domingo, and it's because they have very high agility. Which is part of the reason, I think, why they are so high level relative to the rest of my group. They've just had a lot of opportunities to move and attack enemies, both because of their really high movement range, and because of their really high agility. It almost makes it challenging. Like, look at Lyle. He is less than half the agility of either Domingo or Kokichi, and he goes about half as often. That makes it much more challenging to level him up. Domingo and Kokichi are off on a little cruise right now, enjoying the ocean breeze. And meanwhile, everyone is just like, come on, May. Hurry it up. I know you're wearing like a ton of armor and stuff, but so are we. And what's more, you're a horse. You have like twice as many legs as the rest of us. You should be moving faster. Alright folks, it's about time for us to start moving out from our secluded position here on the far side of these mountains. And let's see, I guess we'll move Bouffant over there. I don't want to move him too far out because those armed skeletons have really high attack, and I don't want to have them focusing down Bouffant because that could end really badly. In fact, I'm going to do a quick save state here, just in case things go horribly wrong. And let me see. I don't want to move Domingo in alone, because that'll end badly. Armed skeletons just have much too high an attack level for me to feel comfortable with that, even with Domingo's exceptionally high defense. And here's an opportunity for you to see the armed skeleton. Look at that. 4 arms. That is a horrible pun. That's the sort of thing I might put in a game. Do we want Anri casting Freeze level 3? I think we do. And she levels up. Very nice. Nice defense increase. Nice speed increase. Very nice hit point increase. And she learns Freeze level 4. Oh yes. So, remember how I was telling you how awesome Blaze level 4 is? You haven't even seen it yet, but Freeze level 4 is just as awesome, and it has the range of Freeze level 3, which actually makes it even more awesome than Blaze level 4, if you can imagine that. Ah, Lyle has no attack opportunities there, because he can't move, and that is bad. There's that Dark Priest moving down, but it's unclear just what he thinks he's doing, because well, all he's going to do is die, actually. I know what he's going to do. He's going to drop dead when Bouffant smacks him with a lightsaber. Oh yeah! You see that? 80 points of damage. Unbelievable, folks. If I were that High Priest, I would have A, not moved there, and B, I would have used heal level 3 on that armed skeleton. You know, not to backseat tactic here or anything, but alright. Well, Anri can finish off this armed skeleton here, folks, with yet another Freeze level 3. Let me check on the cost of... Freeze level 4 is the same as Freeze level 3. Maybe I will just show it to you right now, because it looks awesome. And it also deals a ton of damage. Have a look. .41 points of damage. Tell me that's not awesome. That is a crazy amount of damage for an attack to deal. Whoa. So, armed skeletons are kinda like Steel Claws in that they have a long-range attack they can use that bypasses defense. It's a machine gun, which is kind of weird. Not something you would expect to see in this particular setting. But it doesn't bother me too much. I mean, you figure if they have the technology for laser weapons, presumably they figured out machine guns at some point. Alright, Domingo, I want you to finish off this armed skeleton, and what's more, I want you to learn Freeze level 3, because you are getting way left behind here by Anri. And he levels up to 13. Defense increases, speed increases, and there we go, Freeze level 3. This is a good battle for freeze magic, folks, because we are learning it in spades. Now I just need to get my healers over there so they can heal Bouffant and he can continue with his enemy-destroying ways. Now this is gonna hurt, folks. I won't lie to you. We may actually lose some folks in this battle simply by virtue of the fact that enemies deal so much damage right now. Ooh, this could be the end of Domingo. Will he survive? No, he will not. This is a sad day, folks. Domingo finally learns Freeze level 3, and he's shot down by horsemen. Don't worry, Domingo, we will avenge you. Once we manage to move out of this stupid forest. I think it's time for a little Chaos Breaker action, don't you? I'm really glad I managed to level up Domingo right before he died there, because I would have been really disappointed if I took him into the next battle and he was unable to use Freeze level 3. Because as you can see, Freeze level 3 just absolutely wreaks havoc on the Cerberus. Cerberi? I'm not sure what the plural of that would be. And here's time for another Freeze level 3. Sooner or later, I believe Anri learns Bolt level 2, which will be a happy day for me. Although, if she didn't, even if she just had Freeze level 3 and Freeze level 4, I would still be perfectly happy with her, because those are awesome spells. As you can see, I'm just ripping through this enemy formation with the help of magic. And that is just as it should be. Even with a regular attack, it looks like Kokichi can one-shot these guys. Very impressive. And his speed goes up again by 4. Kokichi is turning into a bit of a one-man wrecking crew, folks. And speaking of one-man wrecking crews, I think this is going to be the end of our other horsemen. This will mean we are now finally on grass and able to move around at will. I don't know about you, but that excites me. Meanwhile, I don't even know what those enemies over there are doing. Or perhaps more to the point, what they think they're doing. Because this is where the action is. And there's no, there's no front over there. Like, there's no way I could attack from that direction. So I don't even know why they bothered putting them over there. And Chris levels up to level 8. Defense increases. Hit points increase. Thank God! Nice magic point increase. She is now capable of casting heal level 3 more than twice per battle. Really important, folks. Really, really important. And Musashi shrugs off a gigantic explosion from artillery rounds shot by that horseman because he's a badass. And for no other reason. And here comes the Cerberus, straight for Bouffant, making a beeline. Will he do his stupid attack? No, he is going to breathe fire. The only useful thing he could have possibly done. But it is pretty useful, at least from his perspective. Alright, Anri. Put this Cerberus on ice for me, why don't you? 10 points of damage from a Freeze level 1. Very impressive. And Anri levels up again. Hit points increase. Magic points increase by an impressive 6. Very nice. Theoretically, folks, you can now cast Freeze level 3/4 4 times per battle. That is really handy. I'm just gonna put Kokichi... no, I'm not gonna do that. Kokichi, kill this horseman. I do not want him hanging around. They deal too much damage, and their range is too good. not quite armed skeletons, mind you, but even so, it's really important that they not be allowed to hit people like Anri from where they can move to. And Lyle, finally, is going to get off an attack. As you can see, he's lagging far behind at level 6, and so is his damage output. That was a pretty pathetic attack right there, compared to the standard which my other characters have set. Now, I could theoretically die right here if this Cerberus were to breathe fire and get a double attack. What? Ah! Okay. Sorry, folks. Did not mean to do that to you. I cannot believe it. That's the sort of thing that really irritates me about game systems that rely really heavily on randomization. I don't mind risk-taking, but it's pretty irritating to go into a battle and not be able to rely on your characters not to randomly die from critical attacks. Particularly when you lose the entire battle when a single character dies from just one of those critical attacks. And even more so... Uh-oh. Nope, sorry. I refuse to accept that because Domingo learns freeze level 3 in his next level, and I am not going to give that up for anything. In case it wasn't obvious, folks, we are starting to feel the effects of my no grinding policy here. My characters are not super sturdy at this point in the game. Ordinarily, the armed skeletons would be pretty much the only thing posing a problem to me. There we go, there's Anri learning freeze level 4. Now incidentally, it probably would have been more advantageous to me not to reload that save state, right? Because the game doesn't actually end when you die in one of these battles. All it does is kick you back to town with all the experience you gained, and all the levels you gained. If anything, the smart thing for me to do there would have been for me to say, oh well, that's fine. I'll just go redo this battle again. But we're not interested in the smart thing, we're interested in the thing that doesn't require you to sit through the entire beginning of this battle again. Because this is a Let's Play. Domingo levels up. Nice defense increase there, and he learns freeze level 3. Thank goodness. Alright, that's the important part. After that, anything that happens that's good is just icing on the cake. Which means I will be doing another save state in just a second. There we go. And hopefully I don't take any more stupid risks and get Bouffant killed again, because that was kind of embarrassing. There wasn't really any good reason for me to take those risks, other than that I wanted to level up Lyle some more and keep him from falling too far behind the rest of my characters. But battles like this sure don't make it easy. Simply because you can barely move your characters around for most of the battle. Ooh, this is not a good situation to be in. I was hoping Kokichi would evade that. But it looks like he can take at least one more hit before he drops, so that's good. And inexplicably, the High Priest decides that it is going to march right up to the front line, where I can one-shot it with just about anybody. I do not understand what it's thinking there. But I will happily use the Chaos Breaker on it to teach it a lesson. Even at his high level, you can see Bouffant is still earning quite a few experience points, not even for killing these enemies, but simply for attacking them. Which tells you something about what level the game expects your characters to be at this point. Right, the game expects your characters to be about at Musashi and Bouffant's level. And the fact that I only have a few characters that are dealing that kind of damage, and have those kinds of hit points and defense stats, well, that tells you something. What's also weird is that the enemies barely even hurt those particular characters at that level. Which suggests to me that there's a very weird... There were some really weird decisions being made about game balance during the end game. I mean, Gord is keeping up. You can see he gained 21 experience points just for hitting that guy. There isn't really any good reason to let a character gain that much experience just from attacking an enemy when that enemy can barely even touch them. It just encourages the player to get overpowered through grinding. The thing that irritates me about characters like the Cerberus is that they seem to not do much of anything to anyone up until the moment that they're dealing with your hero and they can conceivably end the entire battle. And then all of a sudden they use these defense bypassing attacks almost every single time. This will be a nice one-shot for Anri though, because this deals more damage than the Cerberus has hit points even on a bad day. And the Cerberus is weak to ice. That dealt almost twice as much damage as the Cerberus has hit points. Pretty impressive stuff. And Kokichi one-shots the Horseman. Chris is finally able to break free. Break free, rather. Not break three. Not sure what three things she would have broken. And she can heal Kokichi of his wounds, keeping him safe from that Minotaur up there. And she levels up. Defense increase. Nice. Nice hit point increase. And a good magic point increase. Unfortunately, it's one less than she gained last time, putting her at 29. Which, while it might not seem that different from 30, means that she can use heal level 3 one fewer times than she could under the circumstances of our last playthrough of this battle. Which is really, actually very bad. Although there are some other things that I think maybe offset that, at least a little bit. And in any event, I am not going to make you sit through this battle again, so we're just going to take what we get here. And Lyle levels up. Defense increases, speed increases massively, that's going to be very handy. And hit points increase quite substantially. All really good stuff. The only thing I'm upset about there is that he didn't gain any attack power, and he desperately needs attack power. However, he will be getting some new weapons in the next battle, or in the next town, I should say. So that is going to make a pretty huge difference. I guess I can't be too worried about him just now. Luckily, I don't think there are very many battles left that take place outside. I think this might actually be the last of the battles where you just slowly, painstakingly trudge along through forests and hills. I think everything else after this is all indoors. I might be, you know, not remembering correctly, but I think that's the case. And that is welcome news to me, because I hate these battles. The pace is just so agonizing. And I mean, you know, I love turn-based tactics games. Generally, the slow pace of them doesn't bug me. But the pace of these particular ones, where you're outside and you can only move a couple squares at a time, it's just so slow. It's just a little too slow, even for someone like me who likes deliberative, tactical games. And the Cerberus breathes fire again. Bouffant is in danger here, folks. I'm going to need to pull him back and or heal him before something bad happens. Because I do not want to have to reload this again. What I think I'll do is move him down here, have him kill this horseman, and then have the rest of my guys mob that Cerberus. And he's level 15. Attack increases by 2, defense increases by 1, speed increases by 1, hit points increase by 6. Very nice. And here's an opportunity for May to gain some more experience. As you can see, she really needs to up her attack power. You know what? I'm going to let Anri nail this Cerberus here. It's only freeze level 1, but it will bring him near to death. Perhaps Lyle can finish him off at that point. It's a delicate balancing act, folks. And I'm going to have Domingo sit on this Cerberus's 2 faces, because that is what he gets. You've just been humiliated, Cerberus. How does it feel? And I guess we'll just have Gort stand over here just in case something horrible happens. Because I do not need that Cerberus moving around and hitting my healers. Chris is just out of range. She could actually probably finish this guy off. What is her defense? 32. That's pretty impressive. I'm just going to do a quick save state. Move her over here. Maybe I don't know. Let's see. Now, you know what? At this point, Lyle actually needs it more than Chris. I'm gonna let Lyle finish this guy off. I mean, Chris does need to level up, don't get me wrong, but Lyle is still a little too far behind for my taste. And here's Gong getting to do a little bit of healing, which he hasn't gotten to do that much of this battle, mostly because he's been lagging behind in the forested, hilly woodlands. You'd think someone who has as little to carry as he does would be able to move a little further in the woods, but nope, nothing doing. And thank God, folks, we're on grass now. I'm going to make it Kokichi's official mission to fly over to the right and draw those enemies over, because I do not want to go back into forest again. I am officially sick of it. poor Dao hasn't gotten a chance to do anything in this battle so far. Everything has gone to Anri with her much better range. Which kind of makes sense if you think about it. In battles like this, where you can barely move, movement range and attack range make all the difference in terms of who gets to actually do something useful. And there goes the Cerberus attacking Gort. And doing pretty much nothing of use. If that had been Bouffant, I'm quite sure he would not have done the yap 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 attack. May, why don't you go put the hurt on this Cerberus for me? Soften him up a little. Get some much needed experience. And here's an opportunity for Lyle to gain a little experience as well. 14. Actually, not that good. Thought he would have gotten a little more out of it. And finally, folks, here is an opportunity for you to see Blaze level 4. This isn't going to deal the full amount of damage it normally would, because Cerberus are fire characters, but look at that. Tell me that doesn't look awesome. Summoning a massive swarm of flaming meteors. I don't know if they're actually meteors, by the way, but I would like to think that they are, because they kind of look like that, and that would be cool. Uh-oh. Did not mean to put Kokichi in range of that. I miscalculated a little. But on the plus side, that means that that armed skeleton is finally heading this way. Which is good news by my book. Let's have Gort heal Bouffant again, because that heal level 1 didn't do quite the job of healing him all the way last time. This won't either, but it'll get him pretty close. 45 is a reasonable level for his hit points to be at here. And Kokichi needs to fly away home here, because he is in mortal peril. That other armed skeleton is still going to just sit there and do nothing. And unfortunately, it looks like that one is too. We're going to have to do this the hard way. I don't know if you can tell just how unhappy I am about the fact that I'm having to move back into these woodlands, but I am not pleased. What's more, I can't think of any good reason to make the player go after these two isolated skeletons that are just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. What is the point? What does this add to the game? That is what I want to know. again, there's no reason why you would ever need to be on that side of the battlefield. Because there is no way through there. Right, the two ways through are down this way, right, either side of this particular range, or up through here. These skeletons are all the way over here. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. And the slog begins. Maybe I can send Domingo over and try to draw out that other skeleton. Or better yet, maybe we can just have him finish off this one. I eagerly await the day when Domingo gains Freeze level 4. That will be a happy moment in my life. I'm going to see if I can draw that armed skeleton out without getting Kokichi brutally murdered. Hopefully this will work. I didn't totally miscalculate there. Oh, here we go. Alright, let's see here. So the armed skeleton moves 2, so that'll put him just to the right of Kokichi. Which means I need to move Kokichi over 2 to keep him out of range of the machine gun. And just close enough to entice the armed skeleton to move forward. Whoa! Looks like the armed skeleton decided he was going to move twice. No good, folks. That is no good. Oh, Kokichi, you may be getting replaced by Domingo for a little while here. Let's see. Domingo, you hang out over there, because that is where we need you to be in order to entice the armed skeleton to move over. And Kokichi, you run away screaming, because you are in danger, sir. And Gong, time for you to get a little more healing experience. This time you're going to be healing a busted-up helicopter. I'm not quite sure how the healing fairy manages to do anything with that, but you know what? It's magic. It doesn't have to make sense. Alright. Time for the armed skeleton to show his hand. No pun intended. Whoop. Looks like I miscalculated there as well. I put Domingo in harm's way. What? Ooh. The armed skeleton did a double attack with his machine gun. That is totally unfair. Or is it? I don't know, folks. It seems a little cheap to me, but what do I know? I'm just a guy playing Shining Force. And Kokichi levels up again. A little attack increase. Defense increase. Pretty good hit point increase. Nothing to complain about there. What I'd really like to do is move Dao over and have her finish him with a nice Blaze 4. That'd be a fitting end to the armed skeleton's existence, don't you think? Let's see if we can make it happen. Dao, as you can see, is even lower level than Lyle at this point. It's kind of mind-blowing. Although, to be fair, we did level her up pretty far before we promoted her. Which is why she has such powerful spells at such a low level. So she actually doesn't need to be leveled as much as, you know, say Lyle or Chris do, because those guys are not living up to their full potential right now. Ah, poor Domingo. We'll have to resurrect him as soon as we get to the next town. Which will be just as soon as I kill this one remaining armed skeleton. And that might be right now, as a matter of fact. Yep. Anri just one-shotted that armed skeleton with freeze level 4. Nicely done. And she levels up again. Attack increase, defense increase, hit points increase, magic points increase by 7. Really nice. That is a nice increase. We head directly into Runefaust. The Shining Force is now in a desperate race against time. Dark Dragon is awakening. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of Chapter 7, The Lost Civilization. Time to record my exploits so far. And it's also time for Chapter 8, Rise of the Ancient Castle. Runefaust at last. The long and perilous journey is near its end. It is up to the Shining Force whether it ends as a triumph for light or darkness. Alright folks, we are now in Runefaust, but we are out of time for this Let's Play, so I hope you've enjoyed watching. I have enjoyed playing, except for that part where Bouffant died, but other than that, totally enjoyed playing, and I am looking forward to showing you the next Let's Play. We are very close to the end of the game, so there's only a few episodes left in this one. Stay tuned for the exciting conclusion of Let's Play Shining Force. Probably not in the next episode, but you know, in a few. See you next time.